In this live video, I'm going to be exposing any kind of delusional thinking that you may be suffering from. Now, I know what you're saying. You're probably saying, Julian, I don't have any delusional thinking. I'm not delusional. I'm not in a trap. What are you talking about? Well, hey, if that's the case, then nothing that I say here is going to trigger you, and it'll be very easy to answer some of the questions that I may ask you. But chances are, if you are like the majority of people, if you're like 99.999% of people alive, you suffer from some kind of delusion. Okay, we do have blind spots, we have ceilings of success that hijack our focus, and this video here is going to expose that. It's not necessarily going to be comfortable. If you just came here for a fun and comfortable ride, go on TikTok and watch something dumb and mainstreamy that just makes you smile. Watch someone do the next little dance, dun 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 dun, little meme. Maybe that's where you belong. If you want some raw feedback, some real advice, if you want some advice that actually changes your life, then stick around. Okay, now, before we go any further, do hit the subscribe button and the like button below this video. You have no idea how much just hitting like actually affects the channel and the distribution of this content, so like away and just own it. And of course, as always, if you want more personal feedback, if you resonate with what we're going to be diving into here, you can go to Julien Mentoring and book a free coaching call. Okay, if you want a lot more, want some more personalized feedback, if you want personal help coming up with a game plan, if you have questions, the link's right there. If you go there and there's still the application page, it still works. There's still slots open. So julienmentoring.com, fill that out. Or of course, same links in the description and pinned below this live video. That being said, let's get into the juice. Okay, scrolling through some of the comments here. Is this live? Thank you. There has to always be one comment saying, is this live? Yes, it is live. Hello from Algeria. Why, hello. Hey, Julian. Hey, hey, hey. Okay, so let's get into this. Okay, exposing any kind of delusional thinking. Exposing how the plan that you think may work for you will in fact not work. And this is key, and this is really inspired from a lot of recent coaching calls that I've been doing, where I've been going live. Okay, this is private coaching on different, say, Zoom calls with clients and discussing their goals, discussing the plans that they have for themselves. And the plans that I hear are insane. Okay, so here's an example. And actually, you know what? I'm just going to ask you. So just answer in the written chat. If you're watching this and it's the replay of the live, answer in the comments below. Okay, questions for you. 3 questions. If you can't answer these, you're delusional if you think you will succeed. Number 1, what is your goal? That's the first question. What is your goal? What is your win? What is it that you're trying to accomplish? And I don't want an infinite amount of goals. Well, Julian, I want this, I want this, I want this. Like, what's the most important one? What's the goal that you're prioritizing right now? Now, with this question here, if you have the answer, great. If you don't, then that's your first sticking point. Right? Well, I don't really know what my goal is. My goal is not this. That's a lot of people. They're playing not to lose. They're not playing to win. Well, I don't want to lose. I don't want this. So what do you want? Well, I don't really know, but just not this. Screwed. Okay? You must have that win, and it must be clear. It can't be vague. Well, I guess I kind of want, to be happier and more authentic. What does it even mean? What does that look like? Well, I don't know. Just like, not this. Already screwed. Okay? So make sure it's not playing to lose, like none of that. It's playing to win, and make sure it is clear, and make sure it's just one, because what people also do is they spread themselves way too thin, where they're like, well, I have this goal, I have this goal, I have this goal, I have this goal. They're trying to accomplish it all at the same time. You can't. That's straight up harsh truth. You can't. Pick one. So that's the first question. If you have the answer and it is clear and it is one, good. Question number 2, building on this, is what are the external steps that you need to take to achieve that goal, right? So, for example, your goal might be, well, I want to work on my health and I want to, say it's all in the health area. Well, your external steps might be, well, I'm going to start changing my diet and going to the gym and blah, 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 blah. Great. Okay. Oh, my external goal is I want to start a business and become financially free. Okay, what are the steps? Well, I first need to figure out what I'm going to do as a business. I need to figure out my niche, target market. Okay, great. What are the external steps? If you don't have these, this is where you got to start bringing your awareness to. What's the how-to? You have that goal, great. Backwards engineering it. What are the exact steps that you need to take? And I hope you can answer this. And this leads us to question number 3. If you have your goal and you have the external steps and you were able to answer question number 2, that means that prior to this video, you already knew the external steps. You already knew the how-to, right? So you have your goal, you have the how-to, and then this is question number 3. What's going to change so that you take action on these steps? That's the whole internal side. You could say internal steps, right? You have the how-to, you have your goal, you're not executing on it, or you're not executing on it to the degree to which you would like. What's going to change? Right? I can also ask you, framing it a little differently, what would you do on top of what you're doing right now to get there faster? Guaranteed there's going to be some steps. Well, there's this. Okay, why are you not doing it right now? Well, I don't know. Well, what's going to change so that right after this moment, right after this video, right after this message, you do something about it? Those are the harsh 3 questions. And when I ask people this and I have them detail out the plan, it's insane the type of things I hear, right? So recently, again, this is on private coaching. I was talking to someone, he's like, well, I need to, do this for my business and this for my business. I'm like, okay, great. What are you going to make sure, what are you going to do to make sure that you take action on this? And the answers, no joke, go along these lines. Well, I just need to remind myself more, I think. So if I set up more like daily reminders, that'll help. I should probably journal more, maybe some more journaling, maybe do, some kind of like vision boarding or something. And I'm listening to this, I'm like, what is going on? Like, you really think that is what's going to make the difference? And this is a group coaching, and I even ask people, like, would you bet your life on this? And that's my question to you. You write down those answers, right? Would you bet your life on your how-to plan, like what's going to get you to execute on the how-to? Most people wouldn't, right? And if that's you, you're living in delusion, right? And if nothing drastically changes, you're also living in delusion, right? If you take this definition of insanity, right, it's doing the same thing again and again, hoping, something will change. Well, if you audit the past 2-3 years of your life, that's your comfort zone, you could say. If nothing drastically changes right now, what are the next 2-3 years going to look like? More of the same. Journaling more is going to make the difference. Is it? Would you bet your life on that? That journaling more is going to make the difference? Setting up more reminders, that's going to make the difference. Really, would you bet your life on that? Once more, question for you. Would you bet your life on your answer to question number 3 here? What are you going to do so that you take action on the how-to? Whatever answer was there, would you bet your life that that's going to work? If the answer is no, you're already screwed. Okay, this is really the foundation, kind of blasting through these delusions, because the more I talk to people, and it's getting more and more rampant, this is what's so scary about it, it's like talking to someone who's like, well, I'm just going to make it, I'm going to be in the movie someday. You'll see a lot of people say in the Hollywood scene, right? It's like, waiters, so on and so forth. It's like, someday I'm just going to make it. Okay, what are you doing? I'm just kind of doing, my movie journal, and I'm helping out at restaurants in my movie journal, and someday maybe more reminders and more manifestations is going to start helping, and I just need to set a clearer intention. No. If you don't have the actual how-to, it doesn't have to be the full how-to, but at least the next few steps, if you're not even taking action on that, you're insane. Right? So the same way when you hear someone who's like, well, I'm just not really doing anything. Are you going to auditions? No, but it's just going to happen. You're like, this person's insane. What's your version of that? Okay. And you can even see how some of the, mainstream, just dumbed down conditioning beliefs that people who fall into these traps have, right? If you fall into the trap, chances are you believe that someday things will change. Right? Well, it's kind of rough now. I'm not where I want to be, but someday in the future, things will be different. Someday in the future, something magical will happen. Someday in the future, I'll finally wake up and be motivated, right? I wake up motivated today? Nope, not today. Maybe tomorrow. There's always tomorrow, right? There's that belief in someday for some magic event to happen or some kind of magic pill solution. right? Time will do the trick. I just need more time. No. More time means you being more ingrained in your current ways of doing things. That's not going to help anything. Just more time. No. Okay, so there's a lot of that. And even in your vocabulary, you'll sense if you fall into this trap, there's a lot of I need to. I have to. Oh yeah, I got to do that. Right? Even if you're watching this, you're like, oh, those are some good questions. Yeah, I should, ask myself those questions. Oh yeah, I should, really start taking action on the how-to. If that's what went through your mind, you're already screwed. I need to, I have to, I should. Eliminate that from your vocabulary. That's all putting it off in the future. Oh yeah, I should. Not now, but in the future I should. Oh, I totally need to. Not now, in the future. It's someday. Screw that. Okay, just panning over to the comments here. Sounds like to be a footballer. Right? It's like, same thing. It's like, I never practiced football, but someday I'll be a footballer. That's a lot of people. It's like, well, I'm watching YouTube videos, and someday I'll just make it just by watching YouTube videos. Maybe if I journal more. No. Okay, let's see here. Time, LOL. It's true, though, if you catch yourself, right? When people oftentimes, too, give you, like, real feedback that stings, you're like, oh, I should do that. That's our reflex. Oh, yeah, I totally will. Oh, yeah, I will in the future. I should. No, I'm doing it now, right? Anything that's in someday land will always stay in someday land. Take all that, someday, right now, today. Let's see. Someone's like, Kaz got sent to the gulag. Yes. Yeah, I was scrolling through the chat and I see some crazy person spatting about. The gulag it is. The virtual gulag. It wasn't necessarily bad, but if someone like spam comments like that, that's gulag worthy. And if you got a problem with that, it's just how it be. Let's see. Love what you're doing and saying, keep going. Why, thank you. I will. I'm literally stuck in a loop. That's me. Yeah, I mean, this is what's so crazy, right? So to keep on going and to address this, it's crazy how people are stuck in this loop, and we have, again, our fantasies, our delusions, and the actions that we take here today are a lot of just coping actions, or just enough to make us feel not as bad about not doing the one thing, right? So if you really break down success, it's so simple. It's so simple. The questions I asked you here are the most basic questions anyone could ask. It's like, oh, so what's your goal? That's the first question. What's your goal? Where are you going? What do you want? What's your win? I don't know. What are you doing? You don't have a goal? What are you doing? I just hope my goal will someday appear, I need to have a goal. I should have a goal someday. So simple. What's your goal? Okay, now that you have the goal, what are the steps? That's the most simple question number 2. What are the steps? Okay, are you doing those steps? No, or a little bit. Okay, why are you not doing all of them? Why are you not doing more? And that's question 3. How are you going to make sure that you do those steps? So simple. That's literally dumbing things down, but when you make it so simple and so real and it's in someone's face, again, it exposes that delusion and people have massive resistance to it. It'd be like telling that waiter, it's like, okay, you want to be an actor? What are the exact steps? Are you doing it? What are you doing with your free time? Well, no, I don't want to. They don't like it, right? So it's been really interesting, like bringing people up and just seeing, again, the insanity. Like, oh, well, I think the only thing that'll make the difference is I just got to be more motivated, right? I got it in the future. If that's your plan, no. Okay, so you got to start thinking outside the box here. Ask yourself, how can you coach you? How can you put yourself in a situation where you just got to succeed? We call this inevitability thinking. How can you put yourself in a situation so that success is inevitable? Even if there's some days where you don't want to do it, what's the situation you can create for yourself so that you do it? Right? So that's a lot on the external. It's putting yourself in that situation so that whether you feel like it or not, you will execute on the how-to, and then simultaneously, internally, you're going to want to start letting go of the things, the patterns, the limiting beliefs, the blind spots that are keeping you stuck. But it all starts with, hey, what's your goal? What are the external steps? What are the internal steps? That's the foundation. You can't answer those, it's not just going to magically happen. Well, maybe if I put in a lot more hours into self-help content, that's not going to change anything. Don't be so delusional. Maybe someday. Someday, and this is also the sad truth about time, right? Just more time. It's realizing that, you're either moving up or you're moving down. People think, oh, I'll just kind of stay the same. It's like, no. Right now, with every single second, even watching this video here, from the time we started to this moment here, you're moving up as you're watching this, or you're moving down. There's no stagnating. Guess what? Audit the past 2 or 3 years. If nothing drastically changes, not in the future, right now, well, guess what? The next 2 or 3 years, you could say are going to be more of the same, but they're actually going to be a lot worse because that comfort zone will have a lot more momentum. You'll be more ingrained in your patterns. Guess what? You're also going to be older. It doesn't get easier with time. It actually gets a lot harder with time if you're not doing things the right way. So use this as a wake-up call, right? It's like, are you this insane person thinking that someday things will change? Are you like, well, maybe I just didn't watch the video that spoke to me yet? If this didn't speak to you, nothing will. If this didn't wake you up and you're in this trap, nothing will. More time's not going to do it. Well, I'm just kind of waiting for that right video or that right piece of content or that right thing to just happen and or that shift to just happen inside of me magically and then I'll do it. That's not, you're an insane person. Okay, so this is really the rant that I wanted to share here. This wasn't as much of a structured live stream. It's just more of like, I've been noticing this and I've known this for a long time, but just seeing it client after client. And I was like, let me just see this. So on the coaching, like literally unmuting person after person after person and be like, what's your goal? What are the steps? How are you gonna make sure? And like hearing the insanities, the buffooneries that people would say, it baffled me. So that's the gist here, right? Where are you delusional? Where are you this little delusional actor who's scrubbing the bathroom and like, someday I'll make it. Just scrub a little longer. Where are you scrubbing your dirty toilet? Your little particles of poop and piss and all sorts of fluids, and you're just scrubbing away thinking that scrubbing's just gonna get you a little further. Just scrub a little more poop scrubbing. Someday, oh, I really should start doing more than the poop scrubbing. What's your version of that? Where are you poop scrubbing in self-help and spirituality, living in delusion? Sounds like I'm doing it now, just poop scrubbing away right now. Are there any ways to put yourself in situations where you have to take action? Well, yes, right? So externally, this hits right on accountability and support, right? Those are the external training wheels. If it's just you with yourself and there are no, for example, consequences to you not taking action or not doing the how-to, then why would you do it? Right? It's like, well, there's always tomorrow. I could do it, I couldn't do it. If I do it or not do it, no one really knows, no one really changes, doesn't even matter, whatever. So add consequences. You know yourself better than anyone. Ask yourself, well, what's some consequence? Like, how can I tip the seesaw so that it's more uncomfortable not to do it than to do it? This could be involving people, right? Telling someone, hey, make sure I do this. You could add financial incentives. You could give money to someone you know. Hey, here's the money. If I don't do this, you keep the money. You could hire a coach. You could hire a mentor. That's why those are so powerful. If you don't have a coach or a mentor, you're insane, okay? You could have peers to hold you accountable, people you work with. You can make public announcements, right? One that I do, for example, still to this day, by the way, is I'll make an announcement for whenever I'm working on a new course, a new product. And I'll announce the launch date before the product is fully finished. Huge, right? So for example, look at that. I announced High Vibe Communication, right? It's coming out February 2nd, 2022. That's my new digital course. Okay, it's going to be all digital, all online. And this course here is about, at the moment, 60 to 70% done, but not 100%. 60 to 70. Now, why did I put that date there? So now I'm held accountable. Hey, when February 2 hits, what happens if there's no product? What if I come out and I'm like, hey everyone, so it's not finished. Sorry. I can't. There's a boundary. There's a situation where, hey, I better finish it and I better release a banger by February 2nd. There's the accountability. So that's one example, right? And I do this still myself in all areas of life. I want the external accountability, that you could say the training wheels, those boundaries, while simultaneously, and this is how you truly get to the cause, letting go of any inner resistance, right? It's like, why do I even need the external? Like, why am I not doing this to begin with? So you want to create the boundary. That's like your worst case scenario. If all else fails, I can't fail. And within that, let go, let go, let go. That sounds like loving the twos. Good, good. But it's funny too. You'll hear this and you're like, oh, I should do accountability. And then the video ends and you're back to the routine. You get sucked right back into it. No, you got to actually like do it now, like while it's on your mind. Like, let's get accountability, right? Or as soon as it's done, or do something that reminds you. Again, there's the how-to. Must get accountability. How are you going to make sure you execute on that how-to? So it's really this game of chess, because like you'll say something, but then you'll come up with an excuse. You know yourself. Then you say this, and you'll come up with another excuse. Like, how can you checkmate yourself into success? That's the type of thinking. How can you coach yourself and checkmate yourself into success? So you have no choice, nowhere to escape. You're checkmated. You just got to succeed. And if you can't answer that, again, more videos are not going to help. Right? It all starts here. This is the framework that's at the foundation. You explained it so well. I live in someday world. Yeah, I mean, it's crazy, right? It's like, it's also the sad truth behind most people, where you have to also ask yourself, are you serious about accomplishing your goals? The answer might be no. Most people aren't. That's why, again, there's a lot of that delusion. Or most people want to accomplish it, but they know it's going to take too much, or, oh, maybe I don't have what it takes, so that's why. But are you serious? All right? If I'm out and say it's in a social situation, not a coaching situation, a social situation, and I meet, say, an acquaintance of an acquaintance. This will happen, right? And someone's like, oh, I'm working on this, da-da-da-da-da. And they might ask me, so what do you do? And I'll tell them what I do. And they're like, oh, do you have any advice for me? I'll give them a little bit, but I will not give them that harsh, raw feedback. Why? Because if I did, right, it'll just make them way too uncomfortable, because most people just like talking about their goals. They don't like actually accomplishing it. If someone's like, here's what I want to work on, I'm like, well, what are you doing? Did you do this? Like the same questions I asked you here, if I start grilling people on that and giving actual feedback that gets results, it's going to make it very uncomfortable. They're like, well, I was just trying to get some validation for the goal. I didn't want to actually do it. Why are you putting me in that position to have to confront all the shortcomings of where I'm not doing it? Right? It's like people are like, I want to start a business, and they work on the banner and their social media looks nice, but then they don't do anything. It's like, well, I didn't really want to. I just wanted the good feeling of, maybe someday doing it, right? It's like that dream that at least gives some kind of purpose to your miserable existence. And then like, I just want a little bit of validation. I didn't want to actually go through and accomplish this. So that's the other question. Are you actually going to go through and accomplish what it is you want to accomplish? Or is it just this nice little someday idea that makes your life less miserable than it is? Sounds like they're not paying you and wouldn't appreciate it. That too. I mean, there's different advice. You can still give some advice. Like there's different advice that I give people when it's free, right? Because the level of receptivity is very different than when it's paid. And then there's different advice that I'll give someone who paid, say, a couple hundred to, a few thousand to tens of thousands or more, right? The advice changes. A lot of people, again, you have to reach that point of readiness, right? There's certain things, for example, that I tell my private clients that I can't tell you here. And there's certain things that I tell those private clients that, for example, that there's things I tell more of, you could say, VIP clients that I don't tell those private clients, and so on and so forth. So that is another good point, yes. How long have you been doing coaching for? Since 2010. So 11 years at this point. Yeah, I've been traveling around the world. I've done multiple world tours. Typical, week for me prior to the lockdown situation was every single week I'm in a new country, new city, doing events, coaching, again, people in private settings, large group settings, like the mix. But yeah, since 2010, non-stop. I've coached tens of thousands of people, if not even hundreds of thousands in person, face-to-face, and then millions if you count online. Let's see. Someone's like, drop the album. How to make friends. Well, hey, how to make friends. High Vibe Communication, February 2nd. Check it out. Let's see. Thinking about doing something before actually doing something and then not doing something is weird. I think you're right. We get that high from the thought and then doing nothing. Exactly, right? It's like we all have, oh yeah, in my perfect situation, but we never sit down and actually confront ourselves. Okay, what are the exact steps? Am I serious? How am I going to do it? Right? Again, the people ask, it's like, I just need to journal more. I'm like, you're insane. What do you think? Journaling is going to change something? Right? And that's the other twist too. It's like, what has to change right now so that the next 2-3 years don't resemble the last 2-3 years? And it has to be drastic. It has to be something you haven't necessarily tried before. If you're like, well, I'm going to do this. Did you try that in the past? Did it work? No. What makes you think it's going to work in the future? I work at Papa John's for $10 an hour. If you're in America doing that, why? Get a better job. Now, I would never, to be clear, say that in any other circumstance except that right now, hey, if you drive around, people are offering jobs left and right. There's literally not enough people to employ. Why are you picking Papa John's when there are higher up places who are just begging for people to hire? Right? It's like, down the road here, there's like if you drive down a bit, there's like you reach a 7-Eleven and there's huge for hire signs. I'm like, who would go to 7-Eleven when there's for hire signs when you just keep going down a main street there and you're going to see for hire for like way better jobs than 7-Eleven, right? You're literally right now living in a time where people are begging for hires. Do better. Literally, like minimum wage area, this is your opportunity for more. You have the power. You're now the buyer. It's harsh, and again, I would never say this outside of this situation, but currently, right now, at the time of this recording, businesses are begging for employees. Not just Papa John's. A lot of them, and a lot who will pay more than Papa John's. Someone's like, McDonald's is paying 21 right now. Even McDonald's, but there's even better than McDonald's. Someone's like, I could use some money. Well, there's a good, right? It's like, I'll look around. Well, that's another good one, right? Say your goal is like make more money. Great. What are the steps you're going to do? Right? Here's one step I gave you. It's like, hey, look around. You could also zoom out and think outside the box. Okay, well, what about instead of depending on that, what are some other things on my free time I could do? Right? What about even just basic things like driving for Uber or DoorDash or a delivery thing? Why are you not doing that? What about even going online, right? You're not just limited to the physical world. What about making money in this online virtual world? And then, why are you not doing it now? And how are you going to make sure you do it in the future? Get it? So it's like, this is the type of thinking that really leads to success. Let's see. How much is your digital program going to cost? It's going to be the standard price, similar to Transformation Mastery, $297 for the standard edition. Higher tier is going to be $597. Yeah, same usual as always. High Vibe Communication. However, in December, I believe, we might open some pre-sales for a discounted price on top of that. So just keep an eye out in December. Let's see. True. Someone's like, in just 3 minutes, I could do way, of walking, I could do way better. I knew that answer before. But that's the thing, right? We know all these answers. It's very obvious, yet, we don't take ourselves seriously. We don't have that authority over ourselves. We're stuck in that trap, in that derp state of delusion. And then the saddest part, and I'm going to be making a whole other live video about this, is that no one calls us out on it. No one gives us that raw truth. Everyone's like, oh yeah, it's just fine, it's fine. Right? So, again, use the wake-up call. And as I mentioned, someone's like, that's such a good price. Yeah, again, this is not going to be like an expensive, it's like standard digital course. Transformation Mastery is $297. High Vibe Communications can be $297. And perhaps discounted if you catch the pre-sale. So extremely affordable. You are going to love it. Okay, and like I said, currently there's around 60-70% of it done, and it is really, really good. Now, I mentioned this in the beginning of the call. If you want to jump on a call and get more detailed, harsh feedback on your situation and have help coming up with your own game plan, right? Help answering those exact questions, simply go to JulienMentoring.com and you can apply for a free coaching call as well as get a free guided meditation. Okay, so Julien Mentoring, if it speaks to you, I mean, what do you have to lose? It's free. You'll be able to talk to someone, come up with that game plan. If you have questions like, well, what do you think some steps to hold me accountable? They'll really give you that clarity in terms of where to go. This is the foundation. Let's see. It seems like when I try to do more than the bare minimum in any area of life, it never really leads to any appreciable effect. Like the more I do, the more resistance I feel. Yeah. So that's very common too. So M2H, ask for help. Like literally, if that's your sticking point, like here's my question for you. If that's your sticking point, great awareness. The follow-up question is, what are you doing to fix it? Well, it seems like the more I do. Okay, so what's the solution? Well, I guess maybe someday things will magically change. If that's what you're thinking, that's the delusion. And once more, what am I going to do? What are you doing? You want help with that? Like you should literally be going to JulienMentoring.com, getting on that call, bringing that up, and coming up with a game plan. Right? I made another post about this. I have a private Facebook group. It's a free group, right? You can actually join it. If you go on Facebook, simply type in Julien Blanc Inner Circle. You can join the group. There's around 16,000 people in there, completely free. I'm in there. My coaches are in there. It's really, really valuable. So in that group, I created a poll where I asked people, how would you coach yourself? What's the number one thing that you would tell yourself right now to get to that next level? And there were all these answers like this. And my follow-up to a lot of them was, I need to do this. I should do this. I should do this. I don't really know. I'm like, well, why are you not doing it? What's the game plan, right? I feel like this. Okay, well, what's the solution? What do you think about the Wim Hof method? I love Wim Hof. Actually, Buddy, who coaches with me in the mentoring, he's a part of Transformation Mastery. He is very close with Wim and hangs out with him multiple times a week. So people who actually join my private mentoring also get access to Buddy, and they ask him anything and everything about Wim. Like he's one of the closest people to Wim Hof. I turned 33 yesterday, and I've learned that shadow work is vital if you want to manifest a different reality from my personal experience. True, very true. However, simultaneously, what I would add there is add the external boundaries. So getting to the cause is internal, but then while you're doing that, don't just wait. Add the external steps so that there is, regardless, no choice but success. What's up, Julian? Herman, how's it going, man? Okay. Dope. Someone says, I know it's dope. I just got here. Am I late? Yes, you are, but I'll leave the replay up. More importantly, make sure you hit subscribe and the notification bell next to it. Otherwise, even if you subscribe, it won't let you know when I'm live. So if you want to make sure you don't catch the next ones, because I do answer questions, so on and so forth, do subscribe, do hit the bell, and of course hit the like button. The more a video gets likes, the more YouTube passes this out for free, and the more people benefit from it. So like, subscribe, little bell, and comment. The more comments too, right? Comment anything. You can be like, I'm happy, whatever, right? Anything helps the channel tremendously. Okay, I'm not a, I technically somewhat am, but I'm not really a social media person. Like, all about the likes. Like, my main business is private coaching. So I do tons of coaching. It's transformational work. It's, hands in the mud. And then I share a lot of this on social media. But yes, likes, subscribes, love it. Love it, love it, love it. Okay. Let's see. I found out that I was chasing goal because of validation and fame and not because I genuinely feel motivated. Is that not sustainable long term? No, it isn't. No. Not only that, but you will not even enjoy the result because it's not authentic. If you don't enjoy a result, then I'm sorry to break the news to you, but that is not a result. Okay, so let's see. Last comment here. This live broadcast has got me thinking about the list of things I want and why I don't have them right now. 30 minutes in, I realize I've been stuck in the ideas after talking myself out of action. Yeah, so very common, right? It's really, like I said, if any of you showed up late, like rewind, because this live's a little bit all over the place. This is more of like me just speaking from the heart, like, damn, wake up, take this. But it's really a crucial one, especially if you've been in this, self-help, spiritual, working on yourself community for a while and you're not seeing the results you exactly want. Use this wake-up call and take it seriously, right? There are different questions that I ask you earlier in the live stream too. Answer them, right? And for anyone here, comment those answers below, right? It starts here. It's that honest audit of yourself. And then really, and it's simple, but it's very difficult to do. That's really self-help boiled down. It's like success, self-help, spirituality, you name it, is the most simple thing ever, yet the hardest thing to execute on, right? Like everyone here has the how-to, right? It's the same as like, if you just take health in general, like guaranteed every single person watching right now, one or two things that you could be doing in your life that would take your health to another level, right? Maybe not peak, but another level. You all do, right? Definitely one thing, if you change it in your life, things will get better for your health. Question number 2 is, why are you doing it? And what's going to change now so that you do that? What's a boundary that you can place? Inevitability thinking. All right. If you joined late, watch the replay. Comment below. Comment below if this resonated. Comment below questions that you have. Comment below your answers to the questions that I ask you here. Okay, and as I mentioned too, if you want more help, if you have trouble answering these questions, you're like, I don't even know, and it's just confusing and overwhelming, do not worry. Okay, just go to JulienMentoring.com or click the link below this video. I'm also going to pin it in the comments and book a free coaching call. Literally on that call, you can go through this exact same process and have help to come up with this game plan, and you'll get a free letting go meditation. So you're literally equipped. There's no excuse at this point, right? You have the questions, you have what to bring your awareness to here for free. If you can't do it on your own, or you want more help, or you want to make sure that you did it right, you also have a free call and a free meditation that hits on the internal. If you can't succeed with all that, then as we previously joked about, just go back to scrubbing the poop in that bathroom, hoping that someday your poop scrubbing will pay off in a Hollywood movie. All right, that being said, everyone, thank you for watching. Like, subscribe, comment, hit the little bell so you know next time I go live. The next one, I already have the general theme in my mind. It's going to be quite juicy, let's just say. Until next time.
Like, this program is such a game changer. The way everything's structured and the material, it's been already, even for me, I'm noticing a crazy change in the way that my whole life's like playing out.
What you put together is just incredible. There's nothing like that.
I've just jumped like a million levels. It's just been a complete 180 for my experience of existing. That's awesome.
It's just been so huge in terms of so many of the things I'm finally understanding and realizing and epiphanies I'm having.
What you do is a huge inspiration to me, and I think it's one of the most beautiful things you can give to another human in this entire world.
You saved my life, man. I'm telling you, this is real, man.
Sometimes all it takes is just one person who believes in you. Find people who are where you are in life and model them, work with them. I would not be here if I didn't have people who held me accountable.
wow.
I just felt a click and things are changing.
This program was just top notch.
Seriously, like this is a masterpiece. This is perfect.
Everything, the way it's set up, the live calls, like all the support from the coaches is incredible.
It's been nuts. I just had my tears of joy.
This was the best decisions I ever made.
Thank you for creating something wonderful like this.
This program was phenomenal.
This program was amazing.
This program has definitely changed my life.
I know for a fact I'm in the right place.
This is exactly what I was expecting from the program.
It's been spectacular.
I feel really lucky to have found you.
Thank you so much, Julien. It's worth every dollar.